the right way.
What a person. Just not the chair next to me. Literally.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I go to where the mic is.
So obviously everybody here is a big fan of Roswell, which you are all on. So I'm going to keep my questions pretty general because I'm sure everybody in here knows more about Roswell than all of us on the stage, even the people who were in the show. Yeah.
And away we go. No one gets to answer anything else.
Set a timer.
I would say the older I get, villain gets more interesting. Like as a kid, I wanted the good guys to win, right? It's Hulk Hogan in wrestling. And you know, it's always, you know, Transformers, it's the Autobots, not the Decepticons. It's G.I. Joe, not Cobra. And the older I get, villains become much more interesting. Sure. And I look back at like how cool the villains were, and so Michael.
Oh boy.
It's a Roswell.
I'm actually gonna sit.
No, I know.
So Michael was the villain of the alien, like he was the outsider, right? So he's not a villain,
Okay.
but he, in a sense, he was like the bad guy of the group. I'm not gonna say bad boy. I'm not gonna label myself that. And so, fine, I'll cut it short.
Alexa,
villain.
how much longer on
All
the
right,
timer?
okay, go ahead, Majandra.
Hero for me. That's how you do it succinctly.
That's how you hero generally, although sometimes villain's more fun. I don't know. If it's like someone who has no redeemable qualities, I find that quite enjoyable.
Like Brennan.
Right, Brendan.
Still, after 25 years. Still.
Great answer though, Brendan. That was really, really eloquent. That's good.
Wow, we're gonna talk later.
This is my brother from another mother. So I would say both actually, because you know, I've been able to play both sort of a hero-ish person and also a villain. Actually, both on Roswell. So I think that's why Max the Max was a lot of fun for me, because you know, you got a chance to know Max for a few episodes and then, like, you know, see his visage, but then all of a sudden, you know, he's acting a little bit more.
Or unique or like kind of off the wall skill. Like I don't have a card trick or a party. Like I don't. No, I don't.
Okay,
Handwriting
that, no
unicycle,
is an
I'm
acceptable
out.
answer. That's fine.
Oh, I'm next. I don't have a special skill, but I'm really, really bad at like putting caps back onto things. Like it's like shocking, where it's like, how can you not find the thread? So I guess like that's the skill, to just not be able to do the most human basic thing.
You know how you do that?
No, I don't. Listen, I've had it
No,
explained to me.
Wait, I'm not gonna. My dad, we just worked on a project together, and he decided to teach me how to put caps on things after 47 years of my life, and I was
So
like,
that might be your problem too.
no, you spin it once like backwards, and then it clicks in. You find it until it clicks in, and then you can go forward with it.
I would love for you to explain that to, but like get behind me while I'm holding a bottle and just
I'm just saying.
very.
You go left before you go right to tighten it, and
Believe
it'll
me,
always
it's not
and it'll
gonna work.
catch the grooves.
I regret asking this question. Sorry, guys.
It's not gonna work. Believe me.
Emily,
Yeah. Well, what kind of things are you trying to screw shit on? Like,
just like a cap like that.
A water bottle.
So I was about to say, oh, me too, but no. I can put them on. No, very well, but I don't. And it's even more annoying because I just forget to. So half the time, like,
interesting.
I'll do this, right? Which is even more annoying because someone thinks it's on and then they'll pick it up and you're like, what the?
I mean,
But that's
just so
you
careless.
just hold it and then you put it on the top.
Yeah.
And then you turn it.
I know, but it doesn't.
And you just keep turning it. And then it's on.
Until you feel Yeah, no, it's a neurologic. There's
So we
something
can work
wrong.
together, right?
Yeah,
That's
no,
all right.
love it. I would rather you teach me than you or your dad. Okay?
It shouldn't take that many people.
No, it's
No, but you know some
43
threads are some are just threaded weird. Like whether
Are you
it's a
talking
nut
about,
and a
like,
bolt,
childproof
like
containers?
even,
Like
but even like a nut and a bolt,
No, it's a disorder.
or like a cap, or something bigger, a jar.
A jar.
Sometimes like the threads, it's off. And you're like, is that center? And you're looking down at like, why isn't it closed? Like even a lipstick lip balm. You know how those
Don't
are a
even
little
get
funny
me
sometimes.
started.
Anyone?
No.
I got the worst stand-up routine.
Who's on first? You guys come here often? I can pat my head and rub my belly at the same time.
That's great, Jason. Thank you for answering the question. Thank you.
That life experience has changed my point of view and my perspective and how I approach everything, in my daily life, but also definitely in my art and creating any kind of character. I think, hopefully my work is much more rich as a result of having children.
I agree with that. I think your psyche, everything is just flipped.
Everything.
Yeah, and it's hard to explain too. It's not sort of one thing that's changed. I think I've just changed, so therefore everything I do and the way I do things has changed. But I don't know. I guess maybe too, I don't approach a script in the same way. Not in a careless fashion, but I think I just let it come to me a little bit more than trying to really make something that it's not. I just, I don't really like this word, but in a more of a organic way. That it just it is what it is, instead of me being like, God, is that perfect? Is that it? Because there is no right or wrong. It's art, right? So it's all subjective, and yeah, that's my answer.
I like that. I would say just like not having the time to there's something lovely about having a true deadline, even just in the day because of children and whatnot. So it puts things into focus and removes the preciousness, and that is freeing.
I'll say the way that I got started in acting, I wasn't an actor, didn't want to be an actor, so it was all instinctual. I didn't know how to do any sort of work, like I didn't have a method. I wasn't method, I didn't subscribe to a teacher or a backstory or kind of any of those things. And so that was instinctual because I thought I was going to go back and be a math teacher. And so
There's still time.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. And so once I started to realize that it was a craft, it was a skill, it wasn't something where it's not just makeup and dressing up. It was something to be taken seriously if you wanted to be any good at it. I started then to figure out what kind of work there was to do behind it and what other people did. And I took some of that in, you throw some of that out, but I think I take it more seriously now, and so more work is put in. And how that ends up, has it helped me? Has it hurt me? I don't know, but yeah, before it was just pure instinct. Yeah.
Play when I was 5 years old. It was the very important part of Sunflower. Took it very seriously. Spent some time with sunflowers.
It was the left stem.
Did you go method on this?
Very method. I made sure my mom threw water on me.
Only facing the sun.
Played the Beatles' "Here Comes the Sun" a lot.
All that.
His process just like
Keeps growing like a sunflower.
Yeah.
No, that was my first introduction to like being on a stage, and my mother at a very young age, she was like, look, you will go and do some theater stuff. If you like it, cool, we'll come back. If you don't, no problem, we'll find something else. And I just, there's something about being up there and kind of connecting with people, even at that small age, and not really doing a whole lot. I just felt like, oh, this is something I kind of like.
I don't know, it was a kind of progression. I did gymnastics, pretty full on, then ballet, very full on, and then from that, I ended up at the Australian Ballet School, which is like New York City Ballet School, full-time place. And after my first year there, I sort of had this moment of like, what am I going to do when I'm my age now? I don't want to. I didn't want to choreograph. I didn't want to teach. And retirement age is pretty early on in one's life for dancing. And so I said, all right, I love performing. I love the physicality of it. What can I do? All right, acting. Let's give that a shot. So I sort of gave myself a three-ish month window of our like end of year break that I could still go back to dance, or if I got a job and liked it and did well, and that's what I did. And yeah, that one job was in Australia that I got, and then from that, because I did a terrible American accent on it, my dialect coach was Australian. So he would be like, all right, yeah, so let's work on this. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, so he, that was useless. Anyway, but still, I guess it was not that bad. And I got the call to audition for Roswell because they thought I was in the States, and that's what I came out and did that with, I guess, a bunch of other. It was pilot season, so new shows casting, even though I didn't, obviously, as you guys know, didn't come on at the start, but did my whole rigmarole of auditions, but that's the one that ended up happening. And, yeah.
How much time was there between like when you stopped dancing to when you did Roswell? Like how much time passed?
About a year. Oh wow. About a year, 12 to 18 months. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, probably more like 18 months. I think. Yeah. Because that job in Oz was, I can't remember how many episodes of Beastmaster that I did,
Oh, yeah.
but that was like throughout a year of a handful of episodes. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's cool. No, I was very lucky. And Roswell got me, they got me into SAG, they got me my O1. That doesn't happen now, I don't think, very easily.
Yeah, me and Emily know about the O1. We're like, visa, yes, we're in, okay.
And also, Emily, you've never stopped dancing. In life,
In life, it's true.
Mine was a failed. I was in a. It's all a failure. I was in a 4-part harmony group, and everyone was very.
Just imagine a barbershop quartet.
Yeah, just like
She's the bass. She's like,
it was. Yeah. And everyone was so much better, and all of their parents would recommend that I try acting. So I did, and then thank God that worked out. That's how I got there.
Yeah, mine, I had no intention of ever doing it. I thought it was silly and dumb, and I was going to be a math teacher. I took journalism in high school because drama was for geeks.
But math wasn't?
Not in Canada.
I made math cool.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I got, I did, I don't like to call it modeling, but like modeling on the side for $50 an hour in Winnipeg, like for Kmart, like flyers, like wearing the jogging pants, you know what I mean?
Gray pants season.
Yeah, I mean, and
Sweat,
it was
yeah.
just because I was making $50 an hour doing that, which was like ludicrous, and it would pay for my university tuition essentially. And that kind of slowly got me into this situation where some guy just asked if I wanted to be an actor, and I turned him down multiple times, and then ended up getting a job, still thinking the whole thing was dumb. And even during Roswell, as much as I liked it, I didn't.
Still thought it was dumb.
I still didn't Like, because there's, like,
Yeah, you don't
I
take it
grew up
seriously.
blue collar, like, I grew up where, like, you got a real job, right? You did stuff. The arts, which I think, you know, Ethan Hawke talks about it all the time, where he's insane. He talks about how the arts isn't like a luxury. It's like it sustains us, whether we know it or not. And that didn't cross my mind ever. And because you had to work, you had to prove your worth, you had to, you know, creating a play. No, you put on a play and you play, but it is a creation, and so it took me a long time to realize what acting was and what the arts were and everything else. And so that was my journey of thinking what I do for a living was foolish.
To narrow down.
I think, I mean, it started early. You know, if you have a fan base that sends in, we're in a different era now, but physical Tabasco,
Yeah.
you realize you've done something, you've affected a group of people or individuals. And I think,
When that had never been done before.
yeah, and I think that'll always be, you know, and then we had fan gatherings, then we had this, you know, you have Twitter and you have Instagram, but like the Crashdown Cafe, the galleries, that, you know, we would go on, where the internet didn't really exist at that point. It did, but you were dialing up to go on it. You had to turn your phone off.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get on the Crashdown Cafe and they got all the threads of the episodes and everything like that. I don't think I realized it was special then, but I didn't realize, you know, how things would change and how special it was. And so I think that sticks with me. It feels like we were on the edge of changing, which we didn't know, going from film, you know, we shot on film.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have digital cameras, and that soon ended after that. And so looking back, it really was the end of an era of WB, you know, which we didn't know was going to be a big thing back then and kind of have its place in history. So looking back, it really was like, you know, obviously it's not going to go down in the history books and, you know, encyclopedias. We all know what those are. But but it was a watershed moment of sorts, looking back, where a lot of things really morphed into something different.
People who were fans of the show really did organize very quickly. And like talking about what Brenna's saying, like the Crashdown Cafe was something that people talked about, and they had conversations and they met each other. And I've talked to a lot of fans who said, you know, I met so-and-so on Crashdown Cafe 25 years ago and we're still lifelong friends to this day. And that means the world to me. Like, I've had wonderful interactions with fans who've come down to set to West Covina from all over, you know, as far as, like, you know, Canada, coming to see us on set, and have had wonderful interactions with them. But to know how this has affected people, not just in a creative space or even an emotional space, but in an interrelationship space, like how these friends have formed and then continue as a result of the show, just is extraordinary. And also the fact that with the internet, with the Crashdown, like, it was the beginning of something where you would have people give feedback, and that feedback would bring changes to what we were doing. Like, we would have on our board, Cadence would have on his board, like, this is the overall arc of what we're doing. But now we're getting all this feedback from fans and people who want to see this and see that. We're going to go and do that. And that really hadn't been done before with TV, because the response was so strong.
Hi.
You could pick from any season, one scene where it's your all-time favorite, even if it's a scene that you personally wasn't in. What scene would you pick?
Oh, interesting. I didn't watch the scenes I wasn't in. No. That's a good one.
Interesting, yeah.
To pick a favorite scene?
Yeah,
That's
favorite.
really hard.
So
That's really
long
hard.
ago.
I mean,
I mean, I. Yeah.
I stumped you guys.
I just asked them to explain to me how.
it's that is a very difficult question, and it's a great question. But like, I went back. We talked about this a little bit before. Like what Majandra had at the very end of Monsters with Bill, I thought was extraordinary. And we didn't. To be honest, we were just getting to know each other, and for Majandra to do that was a little bit surprising because we had no idea, and it was such an impactful moment. And it was just of other things to come. What Brennan did with Independence Day again was like those things of like, wow, what a real, powerful circumstance to be in that a lot of people have been in. Not that but like people who have been in those kinds of really unhealthy, dangerous situations to get out of that. I thought that was extraordinary. I've had a lot of scenes with Emilie. When she did choose to leave and be heroic, I thought that was something that was surprising. I didn't know what was going to happen in that case. But there's just so many scenes that we've done. The scene that we all did when in Cry Your Name, when I came out of the van and it was not going to work this time, was something that I think affected a lot of people because we're all talking about not just the death of a character that we all had grown to love, but also knowing we weren't going to see Colin, like that again. And it was a double whammy of like your character's going away, but then so are you, and that was a real hard thing for me personally.
Yeah.
But that also it was a wonderful scene as well. So it's hard for me to really pick one, but I'd say as far as like the people standing up here, like that work done in those shows was extraordinary.
We always were laughing, but I mean, the one I'll always remember was with Jay when I just absolutely slapped him continuously over.
I believe that was Busted from season 3, the first episode.
We didn't really have
told
a
the
stunt
story before,
coordinator.
but it was when Liz and Max are out on the lake, and he starts talking about having children, and for whatever reason, he took his shirt off, and then and then he was like, "We'll tell our grandkids about this." And he jumped in the lake, which was Castaic Lake, and he's like, "Come on in," Liz. And then he started having this reaction, and he like sort of passes out in the water. Cut to all of us at Michael's apartment, and I'm kind of still out of it, and Brendan was supposed to slap me in the face to revive me. And he's like, "Jay, I really kind of want to smack you." And I'm like, yeah, no, you can go ahead and do it. No, it's okay. And so and you can see it in the bloopers, it's online, where he starts off hitting me kind of delicately. He's like, "Max, snap out of it. Max, snap out of it. Max." And he hit me so hard that everyone broke. And it's in the bloopers where he like turns the camera and says, "Oh, I smoked his ass."
Yeah. I literally say I turned and I just broke the scene because it's like I just smoked his ass.
I mean, it was like, something else.
It was so hard. It was.
And you singing? No, I'm serious.
The drunk up to the balcony.
Yeah. It was.
Yes, no más, no te ve.
Yeah, I realize I'm like such just a cliche like Latina right now, being like, "That's my favorite" when you sung in Spanish. Exactly. But I've been we rewatched a little bit, and weirdly, like a scene that resonated with me so deeply is Emilie when you are in the house with Bill and Nick, and you are like pissed at them because you were about to have, what holiday was it?
It was Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was like, she sees into me. Like this is, it's the most relatable. I didn't understand it at the time, and I just loved it, and somehow missed it the first time around because it was up in my own. But I mean, beautifully done. The way also that they're so perplexed by it, where they're like, what, like they don't understand like this new expectation. Loved it. And give me some time, I'll think of.
Oh, you're fine.
That's one of my favorite scenes. Too.
Oh,
or the dupe stuff that we did together. That was just because it was fun.
My God, the dupe.
We got to wear wigs, and it was just.
They had a guy who came in to like give us like pointers on
that's
New York
right.
accents,
Like, yes.
and he's in the scene. He's walking down the street. He's the guy who's like, and you were like, "Yo, give me the rock." and you gave him, then he gave you the basketball, and you walked away from it.
Yeah.
That was our dialect coach for that particular.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Because me and Majandra were just talking about this, and I was like, I just remember him going, well, what have I gotten myself into? There's like Australian, this Canadian, this woman from Connecticut, and then like this Minnesotan is just
Oh
like,
my gosh, what a combo, yeah.
right? And then going like, oh yeah, we're gonna make him tough New York punks. So it was just like, this guy couldn't have been paid enough.
ringing and
I mean, the whole thing was wild. I was like, I barely speak American, bro. Like, you're in trouble. Michael and Maria's was off the rails. And so it was always kind of, Michael being second in command, Max being king. There was always a little bit of that competition, looking in the mirror of, is that who I should be? Is that who I am? But I've never reached it. My family is, I'm an orphan, that even though you guys had been adopted, had a stable family. And so I think that episode, and there might be other ones that are better suited, but off the top of my head, that one episode would be the one that like really summed it up, where like as an actor and as a character it would be like that was the most diametrically opposed, where like literally saving lives and I've killed the first person or whatever else at some point. So just as a kind of acting exercise and getting into there, that'd be fun.
This young lady has a question over here.
That was a good segue. I was going to ask if, for Brendan and Majandra, if you could give us a little update on B&T, Baron and Toluca.
In flux. We're ready to pivot, if they need us to shoot it in France and be French, I'm like, oui, whatever it takes. We are down, but we're trying to just have it be what we envisioned. There's a lot of things that happen in this industry where they try to change things, and we're trying to be as pure in the original intent as possible.
But it is moving forward.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, it's not even close to dead. It's moving forward.
Oh, God,
so
no. But
that's it's all good news. You don't lose hope.
well, because there's no Wi-Fi here.
I've got five. I got like 5 bars.
No, I know, but to FaceTime, he's got you blocked.
Oh, here we go.
You both going?
Speaker. He's probably blocked.
Speaker. What a
He's
thing.
literally not going to answer my phone call. Oh, he's unavailable. Call again. Wow. I told you. He'll text me before he answers.
Tell him, lady. See, Brendan's trying to
No,
FaceTime.
we're up on stage right now, Nick, but
He is there.
I hope so. We won't have to do
He's
an
also
actual
in
FaceTime
bed.
towards
He's
the
like in
audience,
bed.
but they might have a couple questions for you. Does anybody have any questions for Nick?
Have time. They're going to kick us off the
Nick
stage,
goes, I
but
can't see.
Show Nick the audience.
Yeah.
Nick.
I'll do this real quick. Hold on a second. All right, that's everybody saying hello to you, Nick. He says, hey, everybody. Yeah. All right, they just want to send their love, buddy.
Wait, will you just real quick tell him someone really wants to say hi to you?
Who's
and
that?
show him who.
Who's that? Hold on a second. Someone else wants to say hi to you real quick. Nick, come on. Hold on.
Hi, Niho.
let's give the cast of Roswell one more round of applause.